Imagine waking up thousands of years ago. You're 8 years old. There are no classrooms, no teachers, no pencils, no notebooks, no exams. In fact, the word school doesn't even exist. Yet somehow, by the time you're a teenager, you already know how to find food, build shelter, start a fire, recognize danger, navigate through forests, and contribute to your community. How? If ancient children never went to school, who taught them everything they needed to survive? The answer reveals a forgotten education system that shaped humanity for tens of thousands of years. The world was their classroom. For over 95% of human history, there were no schools. Schools only became common after humans began building cities and developing writing. Before that, education happened everywhere. The forest was a classroom. The river was a classroom. Even a simple walk with parents became a lesson. Unlike today, learning wasn't separated from everyday life. Every activity had a purpose. When adults searched for berries, children watched. When adults repaired a spear, children watched. When someone built a shelter, children watched. Observation wasn't just encouraged. It was essential. Scientists today call this observational learning, and it's still one of the most powerful ways the human brain learns new skills. Ancient children mastered it long before anyone gave it a name. Survival was the first subject. Modern schools teach mathematics, science, and languages. Ancient children studied survival, and failure had real consequences. Imagine accidentally eating the wrong berry, mistaking wolf tracks for dog tracks, crossing a river that looked shallow but wasn't. One mistake could cost your life. That's why children learn to identify edible plants, recognize poisonous insects, understand animal behavior, read footprints in the dirt, predict storms by watching clouds, notice changes in bird songs. To us, these may seem like unusual skills. To ancient children, they were as important as reading is today. Their report card wasn't made of paper. It was whether they survived another day. Their toys were secret lessons, 310 to 420. Have you ever wondered why archaeologists discover tiny bows, miniature spears, and small clay tools buried beside ancient children? Because play wasn't just entertainment. It was training. Children threw sticks at targets. Not because it was fun, although it was, but because one day they would hunt. They climbed trees, balanced on logs, raced each other, played hide and seek. Every game strengthened muscles, improved balance, sharpened eyesight, developed quick decision-making. Without realizing it, play was preparing them for adulthood. Even today, psychologists say children learn through play. Ancient humans had already figured that out thousands of years ago. Stories were their library. When the sun disappeared below the horizon, families gathered around fires. This became humanity's first classroom. Grandparents told stories, not simply to entertain, but to teach. A story about a careless hunter reminded children to stay alert. A tale about a clever animal encouraged problem-solving. Legends explained dangerous places. Stories preserved family history. Even moral lessons were hidden inside unforgettable adventures. Without books, stories became libraries. Without writing, memory became education. Some of those stories survived for thousands of years before they were ever written down. Learning responsibility early. By today's standards, ancient children grew up quickly. A 6-year-old might collect firewood. An 8-year-old could help prepare food. Older children watched younger brothers and sisters. Teenagers often hunted, fished, or farmed alongside adults. Nobody expected perfection. Mistakes happened, but every responsibility taught confidence. Instead of hearing, "You'll learn this when you're older," ancient children learned by doing. Responsibility wasn't a punishment. It was part of becoming an adult. What they didn't learn. Here's something surprising. Many ancient children never learned reading, never solved algebra, never memorized historical dates. Not because they lacked intelligence, because their world demanded different knowledge. A child who couldn't read could still navigate using stars, identify dozens of edible plants, track animals across difficult terrain, predict tomorrow's weather. Their intelligence simply looked different from ours. The skills that disappeared after the birth of schools. As human civilization became more advanced, something unexpected happened. We gained new knowledge, but we slowly lost old knowledge. Thousands of years ago, an ordinary child could often identify dozens of plants by sight alone. They knew which leaves could stop bleeding, which roots could be eaten during a famine, which tree bark could be turned into rope. Many could predict tomorrow's weather simply by watching the sky. They noticed how birds suddenly became quiet before a storm. They watched the direction of smoke from a fire. They understood that certain insects appeared just before rain. None of this came from books. It came from paying attention. Today, most of us depend on technology for information that ancient children carried in their memories every single day. A smartphone can tell us where we are. Ancient children looked at the position of the sun. A weather app warns us about rain. Ancient children watched the clouds, the wind, and the behavior of animals. A search engine answers our questions. Ancient children asked the oldest person in their community. Knowledge wasn't stored on a device. It lived inside people. If the wisest elder died before passing on that knowledge, entire generations of experience could disappear forever. That is why storytelling was treated almost like a sacred responsibility. Every lesson mattered. Every memory mattered. Because one forgotten skill could mean the difference between survival and disaster. Would modern children survive? Now imagine something almost impossible. Tomorrow morning, every school disappears. Every phone stops working. The internet is gone. Electricity never returns. How many of us would know where to find clean drinking water? How many could build a shelter before nightfall? Could you start a fire without matches? Could you recognize poisonous plants from safe ones? Could you navigate home using only the stars? These were not extraordinary abilities for ancient children. They were ordinary. Perhaps the biggest difference between their childhood and ours isn't intelligence. It's necessity. Ancient children learned because survival demanded it. Modern children learn because society requires different skills. Neither system is completely better than the other. They're simply preparing children for two completely different worlds. And maybe that's the most fascinating lesson of all. The birth of schools. Everything changed when villages became cities. Governments needed accountants. Merchants needed records. Builders needed measurements. Writing became essential. That's when formal schools slowly appeared. Children began sitting in classrooms, learning from teachers instead of only from family. Reading replaced memory. Books replaced stories. Lessons moved indoors. But something else happened too. We gained knowledge from books, yet slowly lost many survival skills our ancestors considered ordinary. Ancient children never carried backpacks, never worried about homework, never waited for a school bell. Yet they learned enough to survive one of the most difficult worlds humans have ever faced. Their teachers were parents, nature, experience, failure, and curiosity. Maybe education has never really been about classrooms. Maybe it's always been about learning how to live. So here's a question. If modern schools disappeared tomorrow, what's the very first skill every child should learn to survive? Share your answer in the comments. And if you enjoyed uncovering forgotten chapters of human history, subscribe for the next journey into our ancient past.